My name is Ashley Armstrong, and I have been teaching in the public education system for the past 6 years. I have taught everything from French to science to social studies and physical education, as well as I've had the opportunity to teach in a system-designated class created for students whose mental state of mind prevented them from learning in a regular classroom. I have always had a passion for teaching, and immediately following graduation from Teachers College, I laid down roots in Tucson, Arizona, where I taught French at the International School of Tucson. My grandparents, family, and friends are the most important things in my life, and it is for that reason that after living and teaching in Tucson for 2 years, I decided to relocate to the small town of Maxville, home of the Highland Games, where I have since been blessed with a beautiful daughter, Everly, who just recently turned 9 months old. When I am not changing a diaper, doing meal prep for the week, or trying to sneak in a quick shower, I enjoy running, doing yoga, playing golf, and horseback riding. For me, physical activity is not only something that I enjoy, but also a necessary part of my life because I, like Ruby Wax, am that 1 in 4 people who suffer from mental illness. While on most days, I feel and look like a perfectly functioning woman with good mental health, there are days where I look and feel like I've been struck by lightning, and it has taken me a long time to learn to live with and manage my illness. What many people would never guess is that before being able to sit down at my computer, go to work, or enjoy time with my friends and family, my house has to be clean and I have to know that there will be a time in the day where I will be able to exercise. That's right, you guessed it. I suffer from obsessive-compulsive disorder and have lived with this mental illness my entire life. Although it has manifested itself in different ways over the years, from my obsession at a young age with losing weight and later my obsession with cleaning and then exercise, the illness has always been there, trying to take control over my ability to function normally and be a contributing member of society. I will admit that there have been instances over the years when the illness has been able to negatively affect my mental health, but I have been very fortunate in that I always had the supports in place to help me overcome obstacles and regain control. Whether I required medication, counseling, or a simple change in routine, once I recognized and accepted that I had a mental illness, I was able to identify patterns and establish methods to help me remain mentally healthy. Ruby Wax distinguishes between mental health and mental illness and brings to light the fact that someone can live with a mental illness and still be mentally healthy. And I think that this is an important concept to embrace because, as she points out in her TED Talk, while every other organ in the body receives sympathy for being sick, when the brain gets sick, people are treated as though they are the ones to blame and have complete control over the behaviors. Technology has become an important part of my life. It has provided me with the ability to learn from and talk with people who, like me, struggle with mental illness and maintaining their mental health. Although I have a cell phone, use social media, track my activity levels using a smartwatch, and use multiple teaching apps in my professional life, I can confidently say that I am not at all dependent on them and actually enjoy disconnecting from technology altogether when I can. I believe technology can be extremely useful in both my professional and personal life, and while I do see the benefits of utilizing it, I also believe it is important to know that I can live without it and I am not dependent on it. The ongoing conversations about nature versus nurture are what most interests me when discussing mental health, because while I am well aware that certain people are genetically predisposed to certain illnesses, I also know for a fact that a person's environment can significantly impact the development of the illness and how the illness will manifest itself. As an educator, I often see children who come into the school system already labeled as having a mental illness and dependent on medications to help alleviate their symptoms. But it is my belief that although sometimes medications are necessary for both long-term and short-term use, that many of the children who are diagnosed with a mental illness would not be if the expectations imposed upon them and their environment were modified to better suit their individual needs. It is for this reason that I would like to focus my research on studying mental illness and mental health in children. As an educator, I know that in order for a student to reach their full potential in the classroom requires that they have good mental health, which, as I have learned, is possible to achieve with or without the presence of a mental illness.